Three people charged for a firework attack on the 4th of July pleaded no contest.
Yeah, the victims tell 6 News they were hanging out in their driveway when the group approached them and started firing Roman candles at them. 2 adults were left with serious burns from the incident. In a Sarpy County courtroom today, Jeremy Brown agreed to plead no contest to first-degree assault. Brown will be sentenced in March and faces 1 to 50 years in prison.
Last month, Brittany King pleaded no contest to second-degree assault and an amended charge of possession of a deadly weapon while committing a felony. She's facing 0 to 20 years in prison and a possible $25,000 fine.
King